Hey everybody, this is Brett Lindenberg from the foodtruckempire.com and the Mobile Food 5K to 50K Challenge. And Sharon Howell is here with me. The Mobile Food 5K to 50K Challenge tonight is the finals of this national competition where at least one person is going to come away with an offer for a $5,000 to $50,000 investment. Again, my name is Brett Lindenberg. With me is Sharon Howell, who has really helped organize all this, bring all of this together.
Sharon Howell is here with
me. Got to give her a ton of kudos for everything that she's done. 5K to 50K Challenge tonight is the finals of this national competition, where at least one person is going to come away with Sharon, an offer you
for
mute your side
$5,000 to $50,000.
Okay, thank you. If you could turn off your YouTube screen too, I think that's probably the feedback. So yeah, just want to say thank you for organizing this. Sharon brought together all of the panel of investors, the panel of guides that are working. Yes.
Sharon, can you offer your side?
So we've got a double up of your audio, even when I'm muted. So I'm not sure what that is.
Let me see. Okay. Sorry about the tech issues, everybody. Yeah, so everyone here on YouTube, thanks everybody for commenting. I see everybody in here. Zachary, Jessica, Joe Washington, Tala, Margaret. Awesome to have you here. Let me know where everybody is from. And also, as we go through this competition, be sure to share which pitches that you like from these different entrepreneurs. We've got a total of 6 entrepreneurs that are going to be pitching for 5 minutes each at a time. How it's basically going to work is each team is going to have 5 minutes to pitch their idea. Then it's going to be followed by a series of questions from the investors. This is a really diverse set of entrepreneurs that have been selected for the finals. We've got a barbecue concept, a plant-based bakery concept, water ice, food truck rentals, just to name a few. And again, be sure for all the contestants watching tonight to try to keep it to 5 minutes, because we will cut you off if things get a little bit too long. And finally, just at the end of this day, someone is going to walk away with an offer for between 5 to 50K, and I'm really excited to see who that is. So without further delay, I am going to pass it over to Sharon in just a second here, who will introduce
a little bit too long,
folks.
And finally, just at
Sharon, I think on your side it's I think you might have a YouTube tab opened, and I think that might be the issue. So just close down all tabs except for this one. And I should also say too, if anyone, while we wait to get Sharon back on here, if anyone has a favorite pick, again, be sure to add yours within the comments. And if you do happen to be an investor that is watching this call and you would like to participate in any one of these ideas that you see, just email us over at support@foodtruckempire.com or hit us up at info@Huntington Hill Ventures, and we can connect you with some of the investors too. So it looks like Sharon's back. How's it going, Sharon?
So it was, in fact, on my part. So thank you for that. Thank you for catching that. I had massive double up of audio, and I think that's resolved now. Thank you so much, Brett, and welcome to everyone here. Can you hear me okay, Brett?
Yeah, you sound good.
Excellent.
Good job.
So I want to introduce our distinguished, illustrious panel of judges before we get any further. And I see that Pat is on. Well, Jennifer, all of them on. Excellent. So I'll go one at a time here and just give you a little bit of perspective on who they are, starting with Jennifer. Jennifer is, I got to know Jennifer in 2012 around the time I miraculously inherited Blazer box seats. So thank you. I'm not sure how I was in the right place at the right time on that, but more of that, please, right? Jennifer's a strategic advisor, and she's an entrepreneur and even a sommelier. She's got 2 decades of experience across food and beverage, tech, healthcare. She's the perfect judge. She's also now an international woman of mystery, having been officially adopted by our Canadian friends, eh? She spent the last 2 years in Canada, and just a testament to her impact and how quickly that's happened. Jennifer has been nominated as a Woman of Influence for an award in Canada. So thank you, Jennifer, for being here, and welcome. Second up is Pat, right in the middle of the screen there. Thank you, Pat, for being part of this panel. And Pat is in Florida. I'm very, very jealous at the moment. He's a CEO. He's a known investor in the Northwest, and really nationally. He's an expert operator and advisor. So you'll find in his day job that Pat heads up Bridgewell Agribusiness. They source food and agricultural products to solve pretty complex supply chain and logistics problems. We met on a panel a couple of years ago, and the thing that first impressed me about his interest was that he is much more interested in the way businesses run and excellent teams as opposed to just, a great idea. So the context of our first meeting was innovation, in fact, but we're both clear that an excellent, well-run business and a great team really, really matters. You'll find that he comes from a finance background. He's got logistics, supply chain, and he looks at not just food and agriculture, but lumber and construction, utilities, and retail as well. Heidi Bell, who's towards the bottom of my screen, not sure where she is on yours, but she's an angel investor, marketer, and she's an advisor. Heidi and I have been co-investors from the inception, really, of the Oregon Food Fund. And one of the things that impressed me about Heidi was that she's got just an excellent approach to identifying great investment opportunities in the food and beverage category. She does extremely thorough due diligence. And I'm sure that the teams who she has advised at this particular event feel that, how nurturing and supportive Heidi is with entrepreneurs. Finally, last but certainly not least, is Mary Hull. And Mary, I've had firsthand experience with Mary. I just love her approach, her style, and her wit. So I was delighted when she agreed to be judge. Mary is a corporate and securities partner at Stoll Reeves, LLP, here in town. And she's also the chair of Stoll's Tech Ventures Group. Stoll has 10 offices nationwide, and they're the largest practice here in Oregon. She helps companies from formation all the way through to various types of financing, including private financing, mergers, acquisition, and venture capital financing. She's extremely well known in investment VC and angel circles, as well as among female investors. So thank you, Mary, for being here. And Brett, I'm going to just give a few folks here a perspective of how we're going to run this, and then if you want to jump in and take over, and let's start the presentations, that'd be great. So this is a pitch competition, which means that when we have the winners of the pitch competition agreed, we'll have a winner and then a first runner-up and a second runner-up. What happens at the end of this is that we start to negotiate with the businesses on how we will invest. And if something goes wrong with the winner, then we move to the second in the category. It could also be that the winner has not used all the funds we have, in which case we'll move to the next in the category and one after that, and so on. So the idea here is to win the pitch. We have given each of the presenters particular categories. The first category is the pitch itself. The second is the team. The third is the financials around the business. The fourth is the communication and the marketing really around it. And then the final category is what we're calling the give and the get. So what does the entrepreneur want to give us, and what do they get from us? So is that, what kind of financing are they looking for, and what will they do with it? Each presenter will have 5 minutes, and we'll be pretty strict about that. So please stick with your allocated time, or we'll have to mute you. Hopefully it won't come to that. And then after the 5 minutes of the pitch, we will go into 5 minutes of Q&A where the judges will ask questions of anything that might be unclear or anything we want further details on. Once we're done with the presenter, we'll move to the next presenter in line. The first off is On the Go LA, followed by the Shell Shack. Scroggins Smokehouse Barbecue follows, and then Sailor Bakery, Dres Water and Ice Cream, and finally Once Upon a Potato. Good luck to all of the participants. We are just delighted with the quality of your presentations and the fact that you're here today. So I will turn it over to Brett, and if there's any quick questions that you have, just go ahead and enter those into the chat box, and we could take them as they come. So looking forward to a great event here, and welcome. Brett?
Awesome. And I think I had my lines mixed up. Who did you say was going to be first?
I've got On the Go LA. If you've told the participants a different order, let's go with that. That way, they're teed up for the order that you've given them.
Okay. So
do you want to just let us know what the order is that you've given the participants, and we'll make sure that we note that as well.
Sure. So let's see. How we've got the deck arranged is Once Upon a Potato first, the Shell Shack, Dres Water and Ice Cream, or Dres Water Ice and Ice Cream, sorry. On the Go LA, Stella Bakery, and Scroggins Smokehouse BBQ. Okay.
And we should probably let people know, if they came to watch Bubby's Blintzes, Bubby's cannot participate today. They've had some travel complications, but we wish them well, and they were a final participant here.
Absolutely. Okay, let's bring on Once Upon a Potato. Once Upon a Potato is a potato-themed food truck located in Baltimore County, Maryland, specializing in customizable potato bowls. And they also aim to feed the homeless community through support from customers, local churches, and organizations. And Once Upon a Potato, take it away.
Good evening. I'm Sharon Harris, founder and owner of Once Upon a Potato. As it was already stated, it's a mobile restaurant that will serve loaded potatoes as entrees that are customizable by the consumer. Well, when I was growing up, my dad was an amazing cook, and he taught me. One thing that stood out was his sweet potato pies that were to die for. This was the foundation of my love for potatoes. In addition to my dad being a great cook, my mom always found ways to share food with everyone and taught me the value of giving back and feeding those in need. This experience has brought me to the understanding that potatoes are in just about every culture and household, and I want to share the potato experience with everyone that I can. So we are dedicated to offering a delicious, creative menu for paying customers, as well as serving our community by feeding the homeless with a food truck experience. We are comprised of a team of administrators and cooks who have worked in food service for over 30 years. Our prices are competitive with other food trucks, and our margins will be around 50%. We plan to source our ingredients from as many local farmers and suppliers as possible. We plan to grow our business via social media, a customer loyalty program, website promotions, and word of mouth. Our goals are to increase sales by 20% each year, contain costs as much as possible, and increase the homeless meals we can provide to our community by 10% every year. We are requesting $15,000 as a loan at 7% for 24 months from investors that will be used. This will be used toward cooking equipment and general supplies. And I think I have finished my time.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. I'll bring back Sharon. Did we want to do follow-up questions from the judges now, or save that for later?
Yeah, no, I think definitely let's do follow-up questions. And thank you, Sharon. Great name, by the way.
Thank you.
So let's go in order of what I'm seeing here. Mary, would you like to start with any questions you've got?
Yeah, hi Sharon. Love the concept. I do have a couple questions for you. Who's your target customer? Like, age range, like, male, female? Is it sort of, all ages, your target customer? And then you said you're in Baltimore. So, where would your food trucks be exactly? And how what kind of thought have you given to, where they are best positioned to maximize, foot traffic and maximize sales?
Well, first of all, our target customer is mostly families for the most part, not children per se, although we have items that children would like, but you're I guess anywhere from 20s to 70, or 80 if they can make it. And that it's just a family type target. And the other question that you asked was where I would, in this area, the foot traffic isn't really easy. So it's more they drive to or go someplace, or we do here, there are communities where you could go and have the truck in a community, and they have little community gatherings that are created by the Food Truck Association in this area. So it makes it a little bit easier because it's with COVID now, they don't have, you can't really go to the corporations and different places where we normally would have gone. But we have already hopefully contacted the Food Truck Association in the area to what they do is they will, on a rotating basis, they will give you a slot to park. You pay a fee, but they would provide the locations for this, unless it's an event that you're invited to that's privately done.
Got it. And you'd use your social media to blast out like, oh, we're going to be here today, come see us, that kind of thing. Absolutely.
And word of mouth. And I have some people in my home that have been making word of mouth very easy. It's actually amazing that because we're in such a small, a large community, but it's a small community. So it spreads out that everybody hears about it, and then they tell two friends, and it's made it quite well. But social media would be our major part. And also the association does do some marketing as well.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks, Mary. Heidi, do you want to go next?
Sure. I have had the privilege of working with Sharon over the last couple of weeks, and she's being pretty humble, I must say. She already has her truck, and it is wrapped, and it has been delivered, and she's already had a lot of interest in her in the truck and the products that she's planning to serve. And I think there are a number of things here that maybe she didn't cover, but she has been doing test marketing for quite a while in a lot of different arenas in her life and in her community, testing recipes, working with local farmers for sourcing ingredients. And so she's really done a lot of the legwork. It's really now just taking it to the next level to get launched. So she's done competitive research. It's a pretty robust group in the Maryland area. The food truck, the mobile restaurant community is quite large, at least 130 registered with the Maryland Food Truck Association. And there's really only one player that is presenting as also primarily a potato-based option. So, and they are not as, and I don't want to put words in Sharon's mouth. I'm actually, I don't have many questions because she's answered so many of mine, but she has found out that, you know, she's price competitive with them. And Sharon, and jump in here with anything that I'm missing that you and I have been talking about over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're not as community-based.
They're not as community-based. They don't seem to have a community play. This has been part of Sharon's plan from the very beginning, is not just to serve paying customers, but to serve customers who are unable to pay. And that's a really big part of her mission and strategy. She's been doing it without any funding. She's been doing it for a long time over the course of her other career. This is her second career, will be her second career. And she has really thought through all of the details and what's going to be needed to make this work from a grassroots perspective, and has already seeded her community with the concept, with a lot of excellent feedback and interest. And it's been exciting to get to hear about it. And I'm really thrilled for her, because I think with the customization that she's going to be offering through her products is quite a bit different than her most direct competition. We've only been able to find one direct competitor within her community, within the county.
Thank you, Heidi. So what we might not have mentioned is that each one of our judges has taken on between 1 and 2 of the participants and helped advise them to this point. So the last few weeks has been filled with that activity, and Heidi has been the advisor for Once Upon a Potato. How about Pat? Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. Hi, Sharon. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
The question I had for you is your ask is for $15,000, and I'm curious what you're going to do with the money specifically. And also, I didn't realize that you already had a truck, but I'm wondering. I'm kind of curious why you're not asking for more than $15,000.
Heidi asked me that question too. I really didn't. I didn't anticipate some of the additional costs after we put in for the truck itself. Thinking that there was going to be a cushion enough. So there are some cooking supplies that are not supplied by the builder and need to be added anyway as just for the business itself. So there are cooking supplies that need to be done. Also, I basically we need to buy get the starter for the food and some of the other items that we have encountered. I didn't think it was necessary to go very high because it wasn't, everything else was put in place already for the most part.
Okay. And I'm sorry, just you mentioned your margins are about 50% of your sales?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. It's a really legitimate question, Sharon, because we always tell entrepreneurs, get more than you need, make sure that you get the right amount, or you keep going back for funding and being quite distracted, right, by that. Yeah. Jennifer, how about you? Any questions?
I do. I have 2 questions. One of them is about, I want to better understand your social media strategy. So that's a key part of it. And so do you have someone on your team with that experience, or what is your specific social media strategy you're going to be using?
We're using Facebook and Instagram. Those are the 2. And I just started TikTok type stuff, but I'm not an expert on it, but I have someone who is very active with this, and she is going to be assisting me.
That's great. And have you begun that? So do you already have people kind of on your different channels and following and excited about what you're doing?
I do, but it was a little disheartening because it took so long for the truck to actually arrive when it just arrived Monday. So I had the page already sitting there, and we're soon to come. So now I can start getting it becoming active. But I do have a following already, about 100 people, and 125, I think, are already on there waiting.
Oh, that's great. And I have one last question. It's on the opposite side of things, thinking about your exit strategy. And so is your plan with the food truck, you talk about how you want to grow it. Is it do you have a plan to sell in 5 years or add another truck, or what are your thoughts around what you want to do when you're done with the business, or how you're planning on exiting?
I plan to add more trucks, but I think to be as much as I can, I want to expand this to another community and be able to address the needs of another community as well. And I think that if I can, I'd like to go electric. But we've got a little ways to go with that, literally in this country. So until then, when we get to a certain point, there will be another truck, and then hopefully another. And I'm looking for a fleet. I want to dominate the area, the country, with Once Upon a Potato.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I have just one really quick question. This $15,000 you're looking for, the loan, are you considering an equity investment? Is there a potential equity investment to be had here? As in, are you looking for a business partner at any level?
Not at this time,
okay.
But maybe down the road, but not at this time.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for the presentation. I'm going to turn it over to Brett so we can get into the next one.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon. I think that was a really great and strong start to all of this. So I'm really glad that you were able to go first. Next up, we've got the Shell Shack. Let me bring them on and introduce them, who also have matching t-shirts, which I love. The Shell Shack, based in Washington, D.C., serves seafood with a Caribbean twist. They take pleasure in serving items like salmon and stuffing it with curried jumbo lump crab meat, or even adding mango and pineapple salsa to our shrimp lollipops. Love it. And Nicole and Spence, feel free to take it away.
Great, thanks. Well, thank you, Brett. My name is Nicole Watson, and this is...
I am Winthorpe Spence.
And we are the Shell Shack. And so thank you first for allowing us an opportunity to present. And so we want to just share a little bit about our concept. So we are a mobile seafood restaurant in the Washington, D.C. metro area. We actually opened our restaurant last April, 2020, in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we opened in a busy food hall just outside Washington, D.C. And, now we are taking our restaurant concept to our mobile food truck. And so we're very excited about that. And the DC metro area is home to more than 80,000 Caribbean immigrants. So we feel like, this is a very prime opportunity for us. Seafood is very popular here on the East Coast, in the DMV, also known as the District, Maryland, Virginia area. So we don't really have to sell people on seafood. We just need to provide them with good seafood, right? And then what we found is that there are minimal restaurants that mix Caribbean and seafood. And so we know that people love the Caribbean. In this area, people will jump on an airplane, be down in the Caribbean in no time flat. And we wanted to be able to bring that nostalgic vibe of Caribbean seafood to the Washington, D.C. metro area. So we saw that as an opportunity, and we seized it last April. And so we began to grow our business, and it's done very, very well. And like we said, we want to take our mobile restaurant on the road. So our mobile restaurant will be in Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside our nation's capital. We will be located right behind a very upscale salon, a hair salon, has a community college nearby. It's got a lot of high rises nearby, condominiums, and a lot of businesses. So we have a lot of foot traffic in the area.
Close to a metro station.
Close to a metro station. So we're very excited about the possibility of setting up our food truck there. We'll probably be there primarily. And then as we get invitations to take our food truck to festivals and restaurants, which we actually already have.
Yesterday we got invited to another location.
So we'll take our mobile restaurant on the road as we continue to grow our business. So in terms of the how and how we're going to do this, when we started our Instagram, our social media pages last year, we started off with 2 followers.
How many?
I was 1, you were 2.
One.
So we had two followers last year, and we have grown our Instagram page to over 4,100. I think we're at 4,145 followers as of today. And so we are really excited about the momentum of our social media pages, our followers. And we've begun to leverage relationships with influencers in the food and beverage community. So people are very excited about the Shell Shack and what we offer. And so we're excited even now while we are transitioning from our food hall space, which is where we were last year, to now setting up our food truck. People are just eager and they're waiting. When you guys going to open? When you guys going to open? You know, daily they're calling us just to know. So just to know when we're going to open. So we know that we have a good opportunity there. In terms of financial, at the food hall, we were seeing probably about 45 people per day. So we think with the food truck, we're thinking we want to stay conservative. That's during the week. On the weekends, it was a little bit more. But conservatively, we want to say we're going to serve about 43 people per day. We know that with COVID, things are going to start to open up. So I think these numbers are very, very conservative in terms of what our gross sales would look like. We're saying that we'll probably be about $22,000 per month, keeping our expenses right at about $10,000. We're thinking that we'll have net sales of $12,000 a month, and our profit margin will be somewhere about 56%. That's for year one. By year three, we're hoping to be at about 60% in terms of our profit margin. So short-term goal for us, we want to get up and running with our mobile restaurant by Saturday, May 1st. We already have our truck, but we have some cosmetic things, some mechanical things that we want to fine tune. So we're looking to wrap the truck, purchase some equipment, get our inventory, and we want to really launch a campaign for our advertising. We have a strong team already in place to help us with our social media. We've got our general managers, we have our sous chefs, we have our social media platforms where we just now need to just finalize and fine tune some of the items to get us going. Eventually, we want to be able to, open a brick and mortar and continue to add to our fleet of trucks with the Shell Shack. So we want to continue to stay on the mobile food scene because we really want to become the staple in Washington, D.C. for just delicious Caribbean seafood. Whenever someone thinks of seafood and the Caribbean, we want them to think the Shell Shack. So that is our short-term goal. So what we're asking today is we're requesting a loan at $25,000 at an interest rate of 12% to meet our short-term plans. As I just stated, we want to be able to wrap the truck, we want to purchase equipment, get our inventory, and we want to do a paid advertising campaign. And we're hoping to have this loan repaid within 12 months. This is our ask. However, we're open to investor options. So we thank you for your time listening. And with anything further you have to add?
I would just like to say thank you to Heidi and definitely to you as well, Brett, and the rest of the judges for allowing us into this particular platform. So we thank you from Shell Shack. Sure.
Can you hear us?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, good. Wanted to say thank you so much for an excellent presentation. Really, really compelling. And wanted to also echo what Brett had to say, which is love the t-shirts.
You won.
We can clearly see the impact of a marketer, who's an advisor as well, right? With Heidi there. So thank you. Let's start with Jennifer. Questions for the Shell Shack.
I actually don't have any. I thought the presentation was really well done. You answered all the questions I would have had. So I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat?
Hi, that was a great presentation, and I'm hungry.
Do you travel for food, Pat? Do you travel for food?
I could drive to DC, but it would take me about 10 hours from Florida to get there. So I'm going to pass, but thank you. A couple of questions is what's your long-term vision for growing the business? Your financials seem to reflect, it looks like maybe one truck and growth in one truck. How are you thinking about growing the business longer term?
So long term, we would love to be able to franchise the Shell Shack, and actually, we'd love to be able to open up some locations in places like Florida, Southern Florida.
Talked about.
We talked about that. We wanted to be able to open up in New York because we're both New Yorkers, and in California, we'd love to get out to the West Coast. All places that we know accessibility to seafood would be something we could do, and there's also a built-in community in terms of Caribbean population in those particular areas. So we have that diaspora already in that space, and people that are just Caribbean seafood enthusiasts, right? So that's part of that. We also have a goal to be able to get at least 5 mobile food restaurants nationwide. So there are talks in terms of like our long-term plan. That's part of it, is to have some more food trucks in our fleet. And then we're talking to Heidi about this. We do have another sister concept to this, to the Shell Shack. It's a Caribbean ramen noodle concept that we would like to, down the road, be able to launch that as well and get a food truck with it.
What is it called?
It's called the Naughty Noodles. So that's our long range plan.
Okay, thank you. That was really the question that I had.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mary.
Yeah, great presentation. I'm actually from the DC area, so this appealed to me. So, my question for you is, so Silver Spring, Maryland. I mean, my recollection of Silver Spring is it's a very affluent area, I think, and so you're selling seafood, which is expensive, right? And so your average ticket price, you say, is $22, which like I'm sitting here in Portland and I think, whoa, that's maybe kind of a lot for a food cart, but in Silver Spring, maybe that's not enough. Like, can you tell me, what factored into your pricing? I mean, do you think you could charge even more, given it's an affluent area and we're talking about seafood, which is expensive? What are your thoughts on that?
So to begin with, I would rather see you at least 3 times a week, Mary, versus once a week. We don't want to knock people over the head, still make a profit, still keep our food costs within line. And that has been part of our success. People will come back and come back and come back. To where part of it is eat, chill, and repeat. The repeat, they do come back for the seafood that we provide. So that is definitely one of the ways we go about making a profit.
Let me add to this. When we were in the food hall, our average ticket price for the food hall was about $40.52 per person, right? And so we want to, as we're moving to a food truck or a mobile restaurant, as we like to call it, because we consider ourselves upscale fast food. So a mobile restaurant, we want to be able to sort of balance between it being a food truck and, like you said, providing seafood. So our menu in the food hall, we had a very extensive menu. On the food truck, it'll be a lot less items, and we probably will look, chefs usually very good to look at portions and also look at menu items that we could probably charge, a lot less.
It costs us 50 cents to make it, but yet we're selling it at $7. So the profit margin will definitely be interjected.
Now we do have a plan. Year one, we're thinking our average ticket prices will be about $22, and we're hoping that by year 2, year 3, and beyond, we want to be somewhere about $25, including our beverage, because we also have a beverage line as well. So
correct. We have a beverage line that we solely sell in our establishment. Besides water, it's that beverage and water.
And people usually, when they purchase, they'll at least purchase one of our beverage from our beverage line, Tropical Sips. So, and that's like $4 for one.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you. Sounds like you've given a lot of thought to it. That's great. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary.
So I'm gonna ask Heidi to jump in for a minute, but one of the things that strikes me is that you've got a lot going on, and you've got the reference to brick and mortar, you've got the new Naughty Noodle, you've got beverages coming in, and what we have seen with food trucks in particular is that the more focused they are, the better they perform. So anything you would like to tell us about that focus and pretty specifically to the early days of focus? What will you be doing in those early days to show us that you are completely focused on delivering and not, you don't have a variety of concepts going?
Well, I think so. We just got started with the Shell Shack in April of last year. I think when Pat asked the question about what's our long-term goal, we're talking about, 3-5 years down the road. As of right now, we have to stay bullseye on, building our brand. And so I think people, before you want to launch a new concept like the Naughty Noodles or whatever we want to do down the road, we want to be able to have our customer base develop that trust level to be able to say, oh, they're opening something else, maybe we'll give it a look. But I don't think that that's right now. So that was just to answer Pat's question down the road and around the corner. We do have a plan to do more, but I think in the short term, the focus is to Shell Shack, to build the brand. Tropical Sips is a beverage line that we already launched when we opened at the food hall. So we already have that. So that I don't think that of that as moving away from, but it's really people already know that that's what we provide. So we don't necessarily do the Sprite and the Coke, but we would provide these natural juices. That's already a part of what is on our menu. So that's not a departure from what we're doing at all.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. Heidi, questions or comments?
I think one thing that might be nice for the Shell Shack to share is they launched in a very strange time, and they have had a unique experience in launching and operating a restaurant in a time where people didn't want to be with other people, where it became delivery heavy. And maybe you two could share sort of your top takeaways from how to be creative, how you're going to apply the lessons you've learned over the last year in the food hall in a time where people didn't want to step in or came in with masks or sent somebody else to pick up their food and couldn't order it from you and enjoy it in the same way. What lessons did you learn that you're going to apply to your new location with the mobile restaurant?
I would say definitely learn to pivot and do it quickly. So if you recognize, so when we first started, we came in, it was a bustling food hall when we first started in that space. And we thought we would be able to come in there and people would be able to dine with us. And then COVID happened. And so we then quickly had to figure out how can we still, let people feel comfortable and, to deliver good food. And so we had to pivot very quickly because we weren't anticipating being very delivery heavy. So I think to me, one of the major takeaways of 2020 and beyond is if you recognize that something is working well, figure out how to massage that and continue to provide that. But if it's not, figure out how to maybe either move that menu item or figure out how to just sort of navigate in a different space so that you can meet the customer need and pivot quickly. I think that the restaurants that were able to survive learn to just pivot in a hard space very quickly. So that's what I would say would be our takeaway.
The other one would be food integrity. It's, that when you leave the Shell Shack, when you get home, the containers that we actually use, your food is still warm, it's hot, and it still looks very appealing. So food integrity plays a big role for us as well. So that's something that we would definitely continue to do.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Heidi, was there something else really quickly before we move on to someone else?
Maybe one more thing. They've also had the privilege of growing a customer base that they continue to grow since the original launch date in the food hall. And how do you plan to communicate with them your move and keep as many with you as possible, even though I know you're not going to be in the exact same area, but how do you plan to continue to keep them in your fold ideally so there's some sort of early on success in your new location?
So one of the things we've already started doing was we've already been sort of dripping on social media, coming soon. Here's a look at our food truck. So we've been showing them, we've been taking people on a journey. And so we've been building the anticipation. for what's coming. So that's one of the things that we've been doing. We've been staying in close contact with our influencers on Instagram, because we found that our analytics show that the majority of our followers are women, probably in the age group of about 25 and up. And so we want to continue to just kind of target, those audiences as we are looking to reopen. But that's what I would say is going to be very important for us to just continue to be on social media and letting people know we're coming, we're coming, we're coming. And as soon as we, we don't want to say, well, we're not ready yet, so we don't want to put ourselves out there. I think we want people to just be a part of the journey. Let them feel like they are walking, they're walking along with the Shell Shack. So it's building that trust, building that, that warm and fuzzy, that people know that, the Shell Shack hasn't just started and then just gone away, but we're still on this journey, and we can't wait until they're open.
Right. Well, thank you. In the interest of time, we're going to move on, but really, really appreciate you both being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also love the island accent, by the way. So thank you.
Awesome. Very good. Well, yeah, this is a really, really tough competition. And, this is just a testament to how great all the submissions were. Next up, we got Andre with Dres Water Ice and Ice Cream, all the way from Philadelphia. Hey, doing pretty well. Dres Water and Ice Cream. Water Ice and Ice Cream is located in Philadelphia and Atlanta. Dres is a dessert company that manufactures nostalgic Southern-style ice cream and real fruit Philly water ice, which I'd never heard of before. Investing in Dres will help us gain market share in Philadelphia and Atlanta while servicing residents with our authentic, unconventional flavors. And Andre, feel free to take it away.
Good evening. My name is Andre Andrews, and I'm the owner of Dres Water Ice and Ice Cream, based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, since 2013. Our mission is to manufacture and distribute Dres Philadelphia-style real fruit water ice and our nostalgic Southern-style ice cream. Our social mission consists of uplifting the community in which our business dwell by creating entrepreneurial courses in the community, which our business dwell, with a focus on the youth. Our menu consists of two items, which is our real fruit water ice and our Southern style ice cream. We will have supporting items on the truck that will complement these two items, but we're going to just focus on our specialty. Our water ice is made with real fruit, sugar, and water. Fruit, water, and sugar. We have over 22 flavors. They will rotate throughout the year, but we keep on stock daily our top flavors, which we are known for. That is mango, passion fruit, strawberry lemonade, peach, rainbow, and banana. Our Southern style flavors consist of, before I tell you those ice cream flavors, I need you all to close your eyes. Remember those days of coming home from college, or those holidays or Sunday dinners with your grandparents. So since you all have your eyes closed and you are ready, our flavors are sweet potato pie, banana pudding, strawberry shortcake, apple pie, peach cobbler, just to name a few. Our ice cream is not traditional. It's made with the actual sweet potato pie, banana pudding, or the peach cobbler. It is made in the bash machine. It is fused and blended together in the bash machine. Is not folded like traditional ice cream. Every flavor tastes like sweet potato pie. It tastes like banana pudding. It is not, I said, folded like traditional ice cream, where you might have a little bit of cookie on this spoon, vanilla on this spoon. Every spoonful looks and tastes like the actual dessert. Operation schedule is 7 days a week during the spring and summer, 5 days a week during the fall and winter. Music festivals, which we attend as well. We would look to do 2 per month. They range from Friday to Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday. That is 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Our revenue goals for each truck is $288K a year. That is, we base that on an average of 20 days a month at $1,200 a day. The other 10 days, we factor that in as rain days or days that we just don't meet our mark. So that's $1,200 a day, $2,400 a month. Music festivals, we average around 40K per music festival. And again, we look to do 2 per month. That is not, 40K is not included in the 288K per truck annually. Our long-term goal is to, the first goal is to purchase 2 trucks a year. The average truck cost is 50K. That includes the truck, the equipment, and things to get up and operating with, which includes licenses, supplies, and so forth. Our second goal is to place kiosk trailers and push carts in high traffic areas such as hospitals, in or outside of Walmart, supermarkets, and convenience stores such as like, you know, QT or Wawa, depends on where you are located in the country. Our last goal is to franchise the truck, trailer, and push cart model within the 3 to 5 years of our strategic plan. And we would like to franchise after we create a proof of concept. Funding, we are seeking investment of 50K. That again, that's 50K per truck. The investment will cover acquisition of the truck, equipment, permits, working capital, supplies, inventory, and insurance. Your investment will help us create a proof of concept that will shape and help us scalability of Dres Water Ice and Ice Cream. Dres is willing to invest 20K of our own money within each investment. We have no problem investing in our company. We truly believe in our strategic plan and our why. My team consists of myself, Antoine Andrews, Nicole Andrews, and Derek Jackson. Nicole and Antoine, they will be district managers, one for Philadelphia and one for Atlanta. Derek Jackson will help on the technical side. Again, my name is Andre Andrews. I'm the owner of Dres Water Ice and Ice Cream, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Dre. I did not know about Philly Ice and got to know just from Pat's initial reaction. So I'm also anxious to try the product. It sounds wonderful. Just really quickly before I ask the judges for questions, are you operating anything right now? Are you basing some of these numbers on current operations, or is it brand new concept that you're going forward with?
No, this is not a brand new concept. We do have one truck. We're getting some upgrades done to it. Second truck has already been purchased but has not been fabricated. So your investment will probably be going into the third truck. The ice cream concept is already up and running. So we already packaged pint-sized the ice cream. The water ice we've been doing since 2013. As I mentioned, the model of the push cart or kiosk is inside of high traffic areas. That model, that proof of concept, we already have that concept up and running. We have done that over the years. Of course, we have not been doing that in 2020 due to the pandemic, but those things that we're looking and negotiating as we speak, with the hospital, and as well as other locations in the Philadelphia and Atlanta area. So some of these ideas that I mentioned is we already have a proof of concept, we already worked the model, and we already have a following when it comes to the things that I mentioned here today.
Great, thank you. Mary, why don't you start with questions, please?
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Dre. My question for you is, so this is like, warm weather type food, right? I like the location outside the Philadelphia Museum of Art. That's probably like a lot of traffic, but talk to me about, seasonality. Like, in the winter, are people going to buy, ice cream and Italian ice? I guess if you're focused on kids, I think the answer is yes. But like, how do you maximize sales in the winter? Are you going to have like winter flavors, or talk to me about your seasonality?
Great question. So one of the things why we moved to the food truck part, of the business is due to seasonality. So for example, we will have supporting items on the truck, that food, because we have a fryer. So we're going to do the funnel cake, in carnival styles food throughout the year. So that we will be serving throughout the year on the truck. So the ice cream part, we are doing our website actually starting on Friday. We will have online sales. So you will be able to purchase these items online throughout the country. That's one part. So another part of it, we have two partnerships with, I don't want to say the company name, but we have a partnership with a concert promoter, the biggest concert promoter. So we'll be able to, our partnership with them is we'll be able to pick whatever festival we want to throughout the country. So when it's cold here on the East Coast, if we want to go to do something in Florida, if we want to do something on the West Coast, we have that option due to our partnership. Our second partnership is with a state fair. So when you do state fairs, you have the state that's putting on the fair, and then you have the ride side of the state fair. We are partnership with a company that provides the rides for state fairs. We have a partnership with them where we will be able to follow them throughout the country. So when it's wintertime here on the East Coast or the Philadelphia area, we will be relocating to the Florida area where there would be other music concerts going on and state fairs going on, which would be basically from November to March. We'd be in the Florida area when it gets cold here on the East Coast.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Dre. Heidi, questions from you?
Yes, I have a product question, please, Dre. So have you, since the get-go, been making both the water ice and the ice cream?
Yes.
And do you typically sell about as much water ice as you do ice cream?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, we sell a lot of ice cream and water ice. I failed to mention that water ice is similar to ices or Italian ice in other cities. Water ice is iconic to the Philadelphia, the tri-state area. So water
is it a
ice
little bit like shave ice?
No.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
so you ever come to Philadelphia and you get a water ice or Italian ice, do not call it shaved ice.
Okay, I'm clear.
You may lose your life.
Okay, I'm clear.
No,
Thank
it's totally
you.
different. It's totally different. So again, for example, it's made with real fruit, sugar, and water. We put that in the batch machine and we blend it all together. And you eat it like you would eat sorbet or ice cream.
Okay.
We will warn
they
you right
require
back, by the way.
There are different processes clearly for those in different machinery needed. So will you be manufacturing away from the truck always and then putting the finished product on the truck, or are you able to make it fresh, both of them fresh with the equipment you have on your truck?
Yes, we will be able to do both. We will be able to manufacture the water ice and ice cream offsite at a manufacturing facility, and we will have a small batch machine on the truck where in case we run out or want to do a new flavor, we'll be able to make it on the truck on spot, which takes around 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi. Jennifer, questions for me?
Yeah, thank you for that overview. I can tell you've been doing this for a few years. I was wondering a little bit more about on the revenue side. So you have a food truck that's already up and going. So the revenue numbers here, are they what you've experienced with your existing truck?
Yes. So the numbers are down a little bit due to coming out of the pandemic, but we expect the numbers to once the city opens back up or the country opens back up, we have no problem of reaching the goals of the 288K.
Okay, so you're able to use your history and saying based upon what you've seen in the past, you feel like that's pretty realistic. And then what about how have you been? So you've been doing this for a few years. You probably have some people who are excited about what you're offering and some followers. And so can you talk a little bit about your marketing strategy and what you're doing to keep people connected so they'll know when you have another truck coming out and what you're doing on that side?
Yeah, so one of the new things that we're going to do in reference to marketing and advertising, we are budgeting for a $500 a month social media budget. We have a company that we're going to be working with called Kingdom Social Media, who has experience in what you call it, social media advertising. So we're budgeting for $500 a month. that will cover the whole month, and that will advertise the ice cream. We have one going for the water ice, and then we will have one for the business as a whole, which will cover our locations that we're going to be doing festivals at, or where they can find the truck during the week in Philadelphia and Atlanta. So we have, as we speak, we have around 4,030 followers on social media. We have a cult-like following. We have some companies we have 30, 40,000 followers, but our followers is loyal followers. When I post something new, they jump on it. They want to know where they can find me. They also share our posts. And when we have something new, and I say we only have 100 of this new flavor or this new product, they show up and show out. So we have loyal followers, and they've been with us since day one.
Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. And thank you for just a really, really passionate, wonderful presentation. I want to turn it to Pat for any questions or comments. And Pat was the advisor for Dres.
Andre, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
You did great. I know you were nervous about your presentation. You did great.
Yes.
A couple of things I'll mention is if it didn't come across, you have to be really careful when you go to Philadelphia and you refer to water ice.
Yes.
It is kind of it's somewhat of a spiritual experience when you grow up with water ice like I did. I grew up in the Philadelphia area as well. And the product is really good and very popular. So from a velocity standpoint, when Andre was talking about it being kind of a 50-50 or so split between the ice cream and the water ice, it's not that uncommon for the Philadelphia area to see that type of velocity in that product. A couple things that I would add that just highlight, I guess, real quickly that Andre didn't mention is that the social mission is also really around taking the concept and being able to set up sort of kiosks and carts and have younger people who live in the city actually working in an entrepreneurial fashion, kind of running their own business under the umbrella, which I think is an interesting concept. That I think comes out of having the trucks. So having them work on the trucks and then ultimately being able to get more coverage by just having some carts and kiosks that will support the marketing of the trucks. Andre, you didn't really talk about you talked about the revenue, but you didn't really talk about the bottom line profitability. You might want to just talk a little bit about that. And that was really the only other thing I wanted to say. Great job.
Thank you. So I can do it. So the bottom line, our margins around as a whole as a business is around 72. We have around 70% profit margin. But if you break it down per item, say per small, medium, large, or per pint of ice cream, our margins is 87, 89%. We have real high margins. Again, this is a product that we like you said, we sell around $2, $3, $4. Music festivals around $10. But when you break down per cup, we're looking at 80%, like I said, anywhere from 80% to 92% profit margin.
That's great. Thank you. Really appreciate your being here, Andre, and it was a great presentation. Lots of passion there, and I will not be calling it shaved ice ever.
If you do, just call me. I will come save you.
Well done. Well, thank you, Brett. We should move on to the next presentation.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andre. That was great. I also have not tried water ice before, but I really want to now. Changing gears a little bit from food businesses to a business that serves other food businesses. On the Go LA, based out of Los Angeles, is a service-founded business by Gabriel and Enrique that helps local food entrepreneurs easily and affordably formalize their business and grow their customer base by offering full-service, short-term food truck rentals. So feel free to take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett. Hi, everyone. My name is Gabriel Gamez, and this is my co-founder, Enrique Loyola. We are On the Go LA, and we're on the mission to enable local food entrepreneurs. So what do? On the Go LA is a service that helps local food entrepreneurs easily and affordably formalize their business and grow their customer base by offering full-service short-term food truck rentals. Who do we do it for? We provide local chefs, pop-ups, and catering companies the opportunity to grow their business and revenue through single and multi-day food truck rentals. Most importantly, how do we do it? We make it seamless for the entrepreneurs by providing the permanent truck, high traffic stops, marketing, and operational support, which lets entrepreneurs focus on what they do best, which is serve great new food to local Angelinos. Prior to On The Go LA, expanding your business as a food entrepreneur meant incurring significant startup costs and operating expenses associated with either a food truck or brick and mortar location. This was always a big risk, one that became even more pronounced by COVID-19. As a result, most food entrepreneurs were shut out. Today, On The Go LA is democratizing an opportunity for expansion, revenue growth, and distribution to all local food entrepreneurs. Now you may be asking why we decided to start On The Go LA. Enrique and I are childhood best friends raised by immigrant parents in South LA. And we were inspired by the origin stories and the blood, sweat, and tears that go into our local food businesses. With no food industry experience, but with plenty of scrappiness, we quickly launched in June 2020 and have since experienced 200% growth across more than 50 local food entrepreneurs. We find ourselves discovering ways to work with the networks we've built over time, in higher education at Cornell and Wake Forest, and the local connection to our communities. This is especially important as we hope to enable local food entrepreneurs to create their own generational wealth and chart their path to leave a positive impact on the next generation. On the financial side, we're a fast growth startup that differs greatly from a typical food truck business and are in a position to grow quickly by adding multiple trucks. Our current run rate with one truck is around $110,000, while our yearly costs are $57,000, a healthy 48% profit margin. In our case, we're also considering the fact that we will be adding a minimum of 2 trucks to our fleet in the next 12 months. So the estimated run rate for that would be around $330,000.
To scale in the foreseeable future, we are looking to capture the Los Angeles metro area and believe the LA market can support at least an additional 15 trucks in our fleet. As we begin to amp up our outreach strategy locally, we are also preparing the overall strategy as we move into additional cities, such as Orlando, Austin, and Denver. Our strategy to reach potential customers in these areas includes leveraging local food influencers on social media, establishing culinary schools and local restaurant associations as pipelines, and executing a public relations strategy to capture the attention of English and Spanish-speaking local media outlets. Today, On The Go LA is seeing significant demand, and we are poised for growth and expansion. We've just implemented an online reservation system and are pre-booking multi-day bundles. Over the last 5 months, we have been at an 80% monthly booking capacity, with 70% of our partners booking multiple times. Given the demand from local food entrepreneurs, we're preparing to launch a second and third truck. In the next 5 years, we expect a steady increase in our food truck fleet as we reap our infrastructure's benefits and expand into other cities. By 2025, we are projecting to hit an estimated revenue of $16 million with 150 trucks across 20 different US cities. In order to achieve this, we are asking for a $50,000 investment for 5% of our company from a strategic partner. This will allow us to hire 2 part-time sales and operation associates to handle our increased demand, secure 2 additional trucks, and enhance our marketing footprint by investing in social media ads and local influencer marketing. As we grow, we have an opportunity to leverage our local data to deliver a recommendation engine for hotspots, implement a graduate program to capture our clients that are ready for their own truck, and in the longer term, allow us to expand to major markets across the country. We are On The Go LA, and we are excited to revitalize the food industry. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you for a great presentation. It was a really compelling concept, and I know that we had a little bit of a miss, so our apologies on that from getting back to you quickly. But certainly, you've got everything we needed to see on here. So let me start with Jennifer. Questions?
Yes, thank you for that presentation. I just have a couple of questions. One, can you speak a little bit more to the competitive landscape? Are there others in your marketplace doing something similar? And if so, how are you different from them?
Yeah, so currently, we focused on a market that's the local chefs, pop-ups and catering companies. A lot of what's existing out there is more long-term and caters to a higher end audience. We're more on the middle and lower middle class. And, we try to kind of keep it at an affordable price point so that those starting off in their food entrepreneurship journey are able to afford it and really kind of establish their brand. So the two kind of main things there, kind of the lower price point, the different target market that we're hitting, and keeping our rentals to kind of more short-term based.
Great. And the second question I had was about data. And so you mentioned how you're going to leverage your data to be able to identify when people might be able to graduate to purchasing a truck or doing different things. Do you have systems and processes in place today to be able to look at that data and to be able to customize your outreach strategies or things along those lines?
Yeah, we currently have more localized data from just the clients that we've had on board thus far, kind of including what cuisines they're serving in what area of LA. LA is such an expansive city that, they can be in one area and do differently than another area. And, we kind of really try to keep track and kind of collect kind of like the data around the sales that they're doing on that day. And we're kind of accumulating that to kind of provide better suggestions for the next partner that wants to hop on and then wants to go to the same area with a similar cuisine, or just kind of, keep it localized like that. But that is part of why we're seeking $50,000 to kind of use that to drive our recommendation engine and take it to the next step.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Mary?
Hi, great presentation. Really interesting business concept for sure. Tell me about like how it's scalable. So, you say you provide the trucks, the permits, you marketing, operational support. Like, I mean, this isn't a services business, right? I mean, this is like, you're gonna be able to scale this and like, do this in a really like, efficient manner and not do a lot of hand holding with each of these entrepreneurs, right? Or is that what you envision? Like, it's gonna be like really scalable without you guys doing a lot of hand holding with each of these entrepreneurs? That's my first question. And then secondly, do you vet them to make sure they're gonna be able to pay? Because in the beginning, like, how do we know this? You provide them the truck. How do we know they're going to be like successful?
Right. Yeah. So the first one, kind of on the scaling side of things, we do try to keep it as, over the first year, it was really kind of us testing out our model, really trying to prove that out in the first year and really see how we can really optimize and streamline our operations as much as possible, including, we just recently implemented the online reservation system so they can see what days are available, as well as kind of see a virtual tour of the truck, all the equipment it has on board, and really kind of get all their answers, all their questions answered on there to really make it as seamless as possible. But beyond that, kind of going to kind of the scaling side of things, this first year, we wanted to prove that out, and we believe our model is very templatable. And so we're looking to establish more of like a city general manager kind of model that will allow us to kind of scale beyond just LA, right? So we're looking to master our template in the next 2 years, be able to scale from 4 cities to 20 by year 5. Bringing in those general managers to LA to train them and oversee, so they're prepared to oversee their own city operations. So that's why we're kind of focused on truck expansion as opposed to more of the city expansion itself. And the second question, could you repeat that second question?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have some entrepreneur customer, you got to get a truck for them, or maybe you have a fleet of trucks, so you haven't incurred a capital expense just for them. But I mean, how do you know they're going to be able to pay, right? I mean, because they're just starting up a business, and we don't know if it's going to get any traction, or right. Like, do you vet them, sort of? I mean, how does that work?
Enrique, we can't hear you. I'm not sure if I'm the only one here. Try again. Okay. Do you want to take it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, yeah, we do try to vet them as much as possible. I mean, kind of what we require is a food handler's permit, as well as, a business license. Really, those are the main points. We do take, when they book online, we do take an upfront security deposit per day, so that we're able to kind of hold on to that and really make sure, we really try to kind of build those relationships with these customers to make sure. But, as we scale, that would be like a more comprehensive kind of onboarding questionnaire as a part of our booking form that we're looking to kind of implement. And, we do take their driver's license when they submit their booking form, things like that, just to ensure that we have that covered, as well as, kind of a full contract that we have them sign before they hop on the truck.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start speeding this up a little bit, but Heidi, questions from you?
Sure. I think it's an interesting concept. Thank you for the presentation. I have a lot of questions and more than I have time for. But I'm in thinking of some of the things that Mary's asking and whatnot. This is pretty intensive business, and there could be a lot of hand-holding. I'm wondering, I mean, ultimately, I'm guessing you're leasing trucks. You're currently plan to lease trucks and lease the fleet for the foreseeable future versus purchase?
Yeah, so
Is that correct? Okay.
that's been our model. We lease it and then we sublease. But we have relationships with multiple food truck owners, as well as, we're building relationships with some of the food truck manufacturers, so we can de-risk kind of those risks that are potentially there.
And then do you ever foresee a program, there'll probably become a breaking point for some of your customers who are repeat customers and they many times a month rent a truck from you. Do you foresee some sort of a program to help transition them into their own food truck owner, sort of get them and the truck off your books and sort of send them on their way at some point? Do you see that as part of your potential model?
Yeah. So that's what we refer to kind of like the graduate program. That's really kind of what we're looking to kind of establish, is really when we think that, we have conversations with them. If we feel like, based on their sales data, they're ready to kind of take on their own truck. Then we are looking to establish and graduate at least, 10 to 15% of them down in the long term. Right. And we've also recently kind of implemented a 7 and 10 day plan for a lot of our customers, so they can drive that consistency and just kind of keep having them on board.
And will that be part, and I'm sorry if I missed some of that, I had a little bit of a technical issue here for a bit. Is that going to be part of your marketing message from the get-go when you're looking to acquire new customers, that this is a possible path for you that we will facilitate on your behalf?
Yeah.
From the beginning? Okay.
We haven't done it because we haven't established it yet, but once we feel like we're at a point to implement that graduate program, we will kind of make that a big point up front.
It's a nice way for them to test the waters, for sure.
Exactly. We're kind of like a lab for them to de-risk their concepts.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Thank you. I know we don't have a lot of time, but
thanks, Heidi. Pat, comments, questions from you?
Gabriel, Enrique, it's great to see you guys. For those who are listening in, I was a mentor to these guys. Great job. I warned you that I was going to ask, or somebody was going to ask the question of, you mentioned a number of trucks that you think can be supported in the LA market alone. How did you come about that number?
Yeah, so basically, we kind of use some of the data that we have. And additionally, our current demand for our one truck really outstrips our current supply. And we're currently pre-booked 6 to 8 weeks ahead. So right now we're booked through the month of May. And so we have, potentially kind of add additional trucks there. And we have another 20 to 25 leads that are interested in hopping on if more days were available. So it's a good problem to have. But also, based on the data that we have and kind of like, we haven't done extensive marketing, but we do think there's a large kind of, local chefs and catering companies and pop-ups that we can hit that we haven't hit, especially in LA, where we've been so focused, I guess, on establishing our model in the South LA and East LA area, that there's so many other areas that we can kind of expand to and hit a lot of different local chefs and really our target market, right? So we really think that we can fill out, a lot more trucks, up to 15 trucks based on our data. And, kind of beyond that, really kind of hit a lot of those potential food entrepreneurs in other cities as well.
Great. Thanks, guys. I know we need to keep moving. Great job.
Thanks, Pat.
Definitely a great job. Thank you, Pat, for the advisory. And Gabrielle, sorry, Enrique, your mic did not work, but it was a great pleasure to meet you both. Brett, keep us on track here with you, especially with the presentations at 5 minutes.
Very good. Yes. Thank you very much, Gabriel. Next up is Sela Bakery. I'm staying in the LA area here, and we've got Rochelle Tyler. Feel free to take it away, who is operating a plant-based bakery located in Los Angeles.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rochelle Tyler. I am the chef and owner of Sela Bakery. We are a Black, queer woman-owned and operated plant-based bakery in Los Angeles, California, specializing in vegan cookies and cakes made from organic and sustainably sourced ingredients. Did you know that 9.7 million Americans now follow a plant-based diet? In 2020, Forbes ranked Los Angeles #2 on their list of the 20 best cities for vegans and vegetarians in the US. According to Pew Research, 8% of Black Americans identified as strict vegan or vegetarian, compared with 3% of all Americans. And a 2020 Gallup poll found that nearly a third of people of color in America reported cutting down on animal products, compared to about a fifth of white Americans. However, there are 0 Black-owned vegan bakeries in Los Angeles. Black people have been pioneers in veganism, but mainstream vegan culture does not cater to them. As a Black queer woman, I created Selah Bakery for people like me because I didn't see myself represented in vegan spaces. Our goal is to spread love to millennials of color who care about what they are putting into their bodies. These individuals prioritize health and wellness, taking care of our environment, and giving back to their community. What Los Angeles really needs is a vegan bakery that doesn't lack quality or flavor. Customers are looking for wholesome ways to indulge their sweet tooth that doesn't invite guilt, and Selah provides just that. Our brand makes veganism fun and approachable while showing diverse customers there is no single vegan aesthetic. After graduating from Howard University with a degree in music education, I decided to delve deeper into my love for food, and I attended the San Francisco Cooking School. Following, I worked as a pastry chef in Oakland and chef de cuisine in West Hollywood. My experience in these roles inspired me to further pursue my dream of owning my own bakery, and thus Selah Bakery was born. Since September of 2019, we have focused on building our community through personal orders, pop-ups, and private events. This year, we plan on converting a vintage VW bus into a mobile vegan bakery dubbed the Selah Bus. We will be ready to deliver and sell our treats across the greater Los Angeles area. We have organically grown our vegan treat-loving community through Instagram, and in just the last month, we have been featured on the pages of Food and Culture magazine and the Spicy Green Book. As we grow, we will continue to engage with our community through social media, email marketing, and text updates. Through the community app, we can share the Selah Bus location, receive mobile orders, send out news, and more. This will not only allow us to expand our reach into the community, but also convert casual conversations into actual revenue. Our custom vintage mobile bakery sets us apart from our competition by allowing us to literally go into the communities that need and want us most. We will create high community engagement at our pop-ups by hosting workshops, conversations, and events alongside our bus. Right now, Selah is just a one-woman show, and I am so proud of our growth thus far. But part of our startup funding is set aside to build a great team to help me with Selah's imminent growth, including a driver and sales associate, a baking assistant, and an operations coordinator. This team and the expansion of our Selah Bus will not only bring more awareness to our brand, but also help grow our bottom line. Once fully operational, the Selah Bus will operate 4 days a week. In partnership with the Sustainable Economic Enterprises of Los Angeles, we will be participating in local farmers markets that aim to serve underprivileged communities. Our other pop-up locations will be chosen based on target market foot traffic and demand from our consumers. Customers will have the opportunity to purchase our products through our website, at farmers markets, and at our vending locations. With our increased reach through all of these channels, we will increase our sales by over 600%. Our estimated startup costs are $62,000, including a 10% contingency. A $50,000 investment from the Mobile Food Challenge would be a huge step towards meeting our goal. Anything not covered by the Mobile Food Challenge will be funded through grants and owner's equity. We are looking for funding in the form of a low-interest loan from an investor who has experience establishing themselves in a quickly growing market, and ideally has the flexibility for payments to be deferred for the first 2 years to allow us time to get our business off the ground. With your help, we can go from selling vegan cookies out of my kitchen to a mobile food truck with an established following to service the vegan community of Los Angeles. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking with you all more about how we can work together.
Thank you. That was a great presentation, and love the pictures. Making me super hungry, but love them.
Thank you so much.
Let's start with Pat this time. Pat, questions?
Hi, thanks for that great presentation. A couple of questions. The first one is, you said you're currently selling. I'm just curious, kind of what your volumes are and what your audience is right now for the product.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was go ahead. You can answer that one.
Well, currently I'm a cottage food operation, so I bake and sell out of my home kitchen. We have been in operation since only September 2019. And over that time, we have grown to about 500 followers on Instagram. And I just plan on to continue to grow at that rate, or even faster, actually.
Okay. And I'm just curious, can you give a little more detail about your plan for where you're thinking when you have the vehicle you're going to be moving around to, and where you're going to be targeting? What kinds of places and why?
So in partnership with CLA, we will be doing at least 3 farmers markets a week, probably the Hollywood Farmers Market, the Crenshaw Farmers Market, and either Atwater Village or the Silver Lake Farmers Market. As well as those farmers markets, we will set up in different communities that are looking for our products. Right now, we love to be in Leimert Park, which is a very cultural center for a lot of Black people in Los Angeles, as well as Hollywood and anywhere that our customers are asking. Since we're mobile, we can move wherever we want.
Great. Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Mary?
Great presentation. I love the focus on Black, queer, woman-owned and operated business, and the fact that you're baked goods. Like, what really resonated with me about your presentation was when you talked about you would maybe have like hosting workshops and conversations, alongside the bus, because baked goods are conducive to that, and really going deep and connecting with the community you're identifying with, the Black, queer, and woman-owned. I think that's super cool. So I'd like to hear more about, is that a big part of your plan? Hosting workshops and conversations and, really growing a community kind of around the bus in that way?
Yes, definitely. We want to create a community that is full of love and just everyone wants to be a part of it. I tend to do a lot of wellness-based events right now when we do pop-ups and just other events like that. And so I would love to do I don't know, cooking demos next to our little thing, do yoga or have some music type things going on, as well as conversations about just what's going on in our community, hosting talks and community service events and things like that.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Jennifer?
I think you did an amazing job. So congratulations. And so what's your longer term plan? So, and also, can you speak to the buses a little bit more and how, why the bus and how they'll be a distinctive feature?
Well, since I was 14, I've wanted one of these Volkswagen buses to ride around in. And so I found someone that can convert it into a mobile food truck. I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, and so over the next few years, so once you have your mobile food truck going, what will happen next? So do you have a 3-5 year plan?
In the next 3 to 5 years, I hope to open a brick and mortar bakery, as well as my biggest dream is to open something that I hope to call the Selah House, which will be like a community space with a cafe, a yoga studio, like a music recording studio, and a huge outside area where we can just come together as a community. People can eat great food and great cookies, and we can just all become better people.
Thank you. Heidi?
Hi, Rochelle, thank you. I love the graphics. The cookie is my favorite dessert, and if a bakery does not have a fresh cookie, they do not get my business. I'm out the door really fast. So these look beautiful, and I hope I get an opportunity to try them. I have a couple of quick questions. You have noted that you're both vegan and plant-based. Those are different things to different people. So are you vegan, or would you say, are all of your products vegan, or some vegan and some are plant-based?
To me, vegan and plant-based are pretty much, I mean, to me, they are the same things, but all of our products are completely vegan.
Okay, no dairy.
No dairy, no milk, no
Okay.
animal products at all.
Okay, so they are vegan. Great.
Mhm.
And then what percentage of, you saying there's a void in the market for your products in the, let's just say the Los Angeles County. Do you know what percentage of restaurants are vegan in the Los Angeles County?
I can't give you a percentage, but I can say there's over 50 vegan restaurants in Los Angeles. But in regards to vegan bakeries, there are maybe 4 of them
That are purely vegan?
That are purely vegan and selling purely like baked goods. But like I said, none of those are Black owned.
Got it. And my last question is, since this truck is going to be a big part of your identification and your branding, will you be able to take it to all of the locations that you mentioned? So the Silver Lake Market, great location. Will it be able to travel with you to all the farmers markets? And
yes, I am in a partnership with the Sustainable Economic Enterprise of LA,
Yes.
and they run a number of farmers markets around here. Yes. And I have mentors and counselors in that program, and they all are very excited about my bus and very excited to have me in the farmers markets.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. We are pretty short on time, so we're going to keep this moving. Last presentation, but thank you. It was just delightful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And last, we've got Mr. Damian Scroggins, who looks like he is currently unavailable right now. Let's try to give him streamed in here. Damian is out of the LBC, which is comes very near and dear to my heart since me and my wife met there. Damian owns Scroggins Barbecue Smokehouse, wakes up early, does barbecue, and is based out of Long Beach. And awesome, Damian, I see you right there. I will get you added. And feel free to take it away. Well, there we go. Now, Damian, feel free to take it away.
Okay. Hello? I'm there.
Yeah, you're here. Go ahead.
Okay. So, my name is Damian Scroggins. I'm the owner of Scroggins Smokehouse Barbecue. We've been in business since 2008. Currently, right now, I'm at work on the food truck because I didn't have time to take off. But I was looking. I guess we'll cut to the chase because I noticed when we were talking, or when others were talking, the phone was breaking up. But what I wanted to let you know about the company, that we've been here since 2008. We serve Texas-style barbecue, which I learned from my grandparents and also from my father during the summer months. As I was growing up throughout high school and junior high, I had to spend a great deal of time in Texas and Arizona as well. We migrated to Arizona after a while. And for family functions and special events, it was my job to learn the master of grilling meat. So from there, that's what gave me the passion to venture off into getting my own food truck. I was part of another company starting off, and then I ventured out and created Scroggins Smokehouse a few years after that. Currently, right now, we are pulling in around, let's say, I don't have any paperwork in front of me, and I'm sorry about that, guys. But we pull in roughly anywhere from 800 to 1,200 daily on the food truck, and that's outside of catering and special events. The reason that I went for the challenge on the pitch was because doing the food truck is phenomenal, and it gives me a lot of free time to move around. But at the same time, it is our reputation is getting bigger and stronger, and we're getting well known that it's time to have a brick and mortar. Reason being that we can prepare our foods daily in a better atmosphere than doing it at the commissary and on the food truck. Also, at the same time, we will be able to do a great deal more of catering and special events. Right now, my workspace is so small that if I'm working the food truck, I'm working the food truck, and I cannot do any catering, and I have to set up special days just to do catering, and then I'm not on the truck. So it's either one of the two. But if I had a space, which I call it the office, if I had an office that I can work from, where I can have plenty of refrigeration, counter workspace, storage, that would help me out a great deal. So that was the reason I initially filled out for the challenge of the food truck. So I'm ready for any questions that you may have. Feel free to ask. Hello?
Sorry, I was just typing to Brett to activate us here. Thank you, and sorry we had to have this right on top of work. We did figure that some of you would be working at this time, and we tried to have it as late as possible in the day. But really appreciate your time. Heidi, why don't we start with you? Questions?
Sure, Sharon, did you say me?
Yes, please.
Yes, okay. Hi, good evening. I do have a couple of questions, please. Am I clear that you're looking for an investment now for a bricks and mortar location?
Yes, that's what I'll be doing.
Yes.
To do another food truck would be nice, but at the same time, it would still cramp my style with getting the food prepared and being well presented.
Okay.
So
okay, well, that makes sense with the
would be the
financials.
next best thing for me.
Okay. Okay. I know some of your locations here. I used to work on Abbot Kinney in Venice many years ago. Great spot. Where are you targeting for this location? What's your ideal location for the bricks and mortar?
Right now, I'm in the Bixby Knolls area now because
Bixby Knolls.
We might have
losing you a little bit.
We may have lost him completely.
Oh, maybe so. Okay.
Well, we are running short on time. I think what we can do is Brett. We seem to have lost Scroggins.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, we've had. Okay. Okay.
Back. Oh.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you're targeting Bixby Knolls.
Okay. So
ideally,
currently, right now, I'm in the Bixby Knolls. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Damien, try that again. We lost
Hello?
you, and we're going to try this one more time.
Okay. So currently, so currently we're in the Bixby Knolls area, but I love the South Bay. So the South Bay will take us from Long Beach to, let's say, West LA, towards the West LA area, Los Angeles. And so that's our target marketplace right now. Los Angeles, I tried to steer away from Los Angeles because there's so many food trucks in Los Angeles. So I was trying to tap into a zone that is not any barbecue food trucks. So that's why I chose the South Bay area.
And you've had your food truck operational since
that's going to be Torrance, California. Say it one more time.
Your food truck has been operational since 2008?
No, 2008. I was part of it. Well, I'm going to tell you all this. I was part of another restaurant called Blesso's Barbecue. I was co-owner and founder of that location, Compton. From there, me and my partner decided to go separate ways, and I started Scroggins Smokehouse Barbecue, which has been up and going for 4 years now.
4 years. Okay, I can hear you a little bit better now. Great. And you've been serving on average how many people a day?
Sorry, I think he cut out again.
Yeah, so, you know, in the interest of experience, I think what we'll do is cut this. It's really difficult to hear. However, we do have an advisor. And so what I will do is invite Mary for some comments on the business in lieu of, you know, us having difficulty with the link. So Mary, do you want to just give us any final comments, and we can cut this for judges' deliberation?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, Scroggins has this like incredible track record, you know, with these accolades of, you know, Long Beach Barbecue Festival winner 2018. I mean, he's he's got, 2,000 Yelp reviews. He's got so many, customers, and, with his trucks, and he's stretched so thin, that he needs, that's why he's here, looking for funds for the brick and mortar. So, I mean, he's had incredible success and wants to build on it, which I think is, really the judges should be aware of. I mean, this is not just like a concept play. Like, I mean, he's been out there, really succeeding in this area, with the business. So I guess that would be the point I would highlight, is that he's had a phenomenal amount of success already and is looking to build on that, which I think is pretty impressive.
I would note this about Damien too. He's actually been featured on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives, and like a few different TV shows. Even like he's actually at that level of being successful for a lot of years. Just to reinforce that same point you just made.
Great. Well, thank you. It's always difficult when you've got technology problems, right? Coming from someone who had technology problems through most of this. But yeah, appreciate that. Mary, what is he looking for exactly on the give and get, really quickly?
Yeah, so I think based on my last conversation with him, he'd be looking for a loan. And I think he's probably flexible on the terms.
Okay.
But
Do you know what?
I think just given some of the questions he asked me, I mean, he would love 50,000.
Okay.
And based on his plans, I'm thinking that's probably the amount of capital he would need.
Okay, great. So at this point, I'm going to invite the judges to kill cameras here and then get on the other call that we've established. I did send you all new information on that call. So there's an email waiting for you if you haven't seen it already, right about the time this event was starting. So if you can please reference that and get on that call. And then Brett, I'm going to turn it over to you. When we are back, I will, I'll send you a message in the chat here. That
Sounds good. Yeah, send me a message or text me.
Okay.
Either way.
Very good.
Sounds good. Okay. In the meantime, while the judges are deliberating for about 10 to 15 minutes here, just going to go over a few things with everybody while you all are waiting. Let me know who you personally would vote for to get funded for this competition. Just within the comments, I see a lot for Sela Bakery, who just went on, obviously, great concept. I used to live in Southern California, so that definitely makes sense and would resonate down there 100%, the Hollywood area. Yeah, great job, Sela. Strawberry and banana pudding are my favorite. Awesome, awesome. Also, I would say for anyone listening as well that votes in and lets me know who is their personal favorite. Let me take off this slide here. We're going to be giving away this copy of the Peach Tortilla Cookbook. This cookbook was written by my buddy Eric Silverstein, who actually started his own food truck a few years ago. He was a lawyer, then started a food truck, expanded into multiple food trucks in the Austin area. Now he's got a restaurant location in the Austin airport. He's got a bar. He's got a couple other locations in Texas as well, and is a big deal. But we'll send you this book to Jill Washington, who I see right now, who voted for On The Go LA. That got her vote. Joe, just email us over at support@foodtruckempire.com or go to the website foodtruckempire.com, shoot me a quick message, and we'll send this to you. And actually, we'll send it to another person too if they want it. Once Upon a Potato is the only one I noticed. I contributed to charity that Tala just mentioned there. So we'll send you one of these too. Again, just email us over and we'll make sure that that gets shipped to whatever address that you would like it to go to. One of my favorite parts about this book actually is there is a section in the back that helps you to navigate Asian restaurants, or sorry, not restaurants, but Asian grocery stores, and basically tells you like what everything means there and gives you an explainer on how to shop there, which I thought was really cool. Just a couple other notes that I was going to mention again. If you happen to be someone that invests in companies and you found one of these pitches to be intriguing or interesting, or you want to learn more about someone, just feel free to email us over at support@foodtruckempire.com or email in info@huntingtonhillventures.com, and we will make sure that you are put in touch with whoever you want to be put in touch with. With that being said, feel free to go grab yourself a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever you got to do. And we will be back in about 10-ish minutes. I would expect the judges to be done deliberating, and then we'll announce the winners. Okay. Just let me, yeah, we'll be back soon. I'm just going to put it on a dead screen. I don't know what that, I don't know exactly what that was. I was just playing there. We'll be back in about 8 minutes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, thank you, judges. This was a real tough one. As you can imagine, for those of you who have been watching and hopefully watching the whole thing, these are some really compelling concepts, very different concepts, very different entrepreneurs. I also want you to keep in mind that if you are an investor out there and you have interest in any of these presentations and getting more information or going into an investment with us, please go to the event website, which is mobilefoodchallenge.com, and send us a message from there. If you are interested in crowdfunding these businesses and you're a member of the audience and you want to put something small towards them, you could do the same thing and we'll get you to the right place. I also want you to keep in mind that although we are going to be choosing a winner and then 2 runners up, this is really the order in which we're going to start the negotiations. So this is the winner of the pitch competition, but we will go on to then sitting down with them and negotiating. So if you are not picked as part of this winner and runner-up number 1 and runner-up number 2, don't fret. It is certainly possible that we'll have enough funding to keep going through the whole list. And it's also possible that our negotiations and talks might fall apart. And so even if you've not been chosen, someone could emerge from either the audience or one of us as individuals and come at you with some funding anyway. So I'm going to ask the judges, who are the advisors of each of these, to actually announce them. But we have as winner of the pitch competition today.
Yes, with its slow and low Texas style and phenomenal public notoriety in Southern California, it's Scroggins.
Hey, congratulations, Scroggins. And as first runner-up to Scroggins is?
It is Once Upon a Potato, fresh and fully loaded from Maryland.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And as second runner-up?
On the Go LA mobile food cart concept.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the judges. Congratulations to the winner, the first runner-up, and the second, as well as the other participants who, like I said, please don't consider yourself out of the running on this funding. You just never know what happens. We were intrigued by all of you and we engaged in a hearty discussion around it. So don't be surprised if one of us, reaches out to you, and certainly anyone from the audience. I want to thank my partner in crime here, Brett, who I don't see on here, but he has been phenomenal to work with and just a wonderful partner. We hope that this will turn into an annual competition and that we'll see you next year. Brett, anything final for you?
No, thank you for contacting us and putting this all together. Thank you to all the judges and thank you to everybody that presented. I mean, this was such a stiff competition. I know Sharon has mentioned this a few different times, but we literally had over 70 submissions before we even got started, and you guys were right down at the top, or right on top of the list, the top 6 that were here. So you should all be very proud of yourselves. And yeah, congratulations to everybody.
And may I say thanks to Sharon? I would love to say thanks to Sharon. She has a lot of irons in the fire from early in the morning till late at night. And this was her fabulous concept and thinking about lots of people in lots of different communities. So thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Heidi. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. And to the winners and the 2 runners-up, please expect to hear from us in the next few days. Congratulations again to all of you. Just a fantastic, fantastic performance. So good luck with everything, and we'll be back in touch.
Thank you so much.
Congrats, everybody.